Hey friends. So I know a lot of you watch this in replay for whatever reason, the time doesn't work, whatever. But there's a lot of you now, so I wanted to reintroduce myself. I'm Kimberly Jarman. And what does that mean to you? I'm a life coach. Again, most people are like, I don't even know what that means, Kim, whatever. So my background is in counseling, left that world, got into the CrossFit world, fully immersed myself, right? Like games level, staff at the games, owned my own CrossFit gym. And that wasn't my calling. So I did find my calling as a life coach. And what I do now is I help people move from one place to another place in their life. And I do this through a very, very unique, different program. This program is not out there in the mental health world. It's not out there in the coaching world. Because I had been part of both, I was really able to bring this very unique package to the world. And what I do is I do mindset coaching for people that want to achieve big dreams, like big, scary dreams. Like they're already probably kind of successful people. Well, they already are successful people, but they know that they haven't maximized their potential yet. And they really want to maximize their potential and see what big things they can create in their life. And I do that through a 12-week program where we do one hour coaching session a week. But I also do neurotransmitter hormone panel at the very beginning to see whether dopamine, their cortisol, their serotonin, all those things, adrenals, where they're at, because we have to have those things to be able to go after the big things, right? Science tells us that low serotonin creates a place where we can't be self-confident and we can't be rejection resilient. So I really wanted to set up my clients to this optimal place where they could go and achieve these big things and do it very quickly with mindset coaching and neurochemical addressing those as well. So that's kind of what I do, coaching. I just thought that I would reintroduce myself since there's so many new people out there. And I love the CrossFit community so much. And I feel like there's a gap in mindset stuff within our community. We do a really good job talking about food. We talk about, of course, fitness and using our fitness for functional things. But there's a gap in a lot of the CrossFit world in terms of mindset. And mindset is everything, humans, everything. What we believe is what we will create. What our mind believes, our body follows. So if our mind has really shitty beliefs or thoughts, those are the results that we create in our life. And that's what made me, I'm in this group, the Women of CrossFit. There's like 33,000 of us. And I really just wanted to show up and serve. I have all these amazing tools over all these years of like learning, trial and error, education, and I wanted to serve. So each week I come to you guys every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time to offer you something that I've learned that I think will help you be better, not only in the gym, at your CrossFit gyms, but outside of your lives too, because mindset stuff spills over into all areas of our lives, relationships, money, business, health, fitness, all of it. Because how we do one thing is how we do most things. So there we go. Let's dive into today's topic. So all these topics came from a group of women in the Women of CrossFit group. I asked them what topics they would like to learn about. I got a list of over 30. And today's topic is the mental game, how to win at it when you're coming off of an injury or you're coming off of pregnancy, you're coming back from pregnancy, right? And there was an interest in this because some of these women are either coming back from an injury and they're really frustrated because they're not the athlete that they were pre-injury, or they're coming back from having a baby and their body is not doing what it used to do. And it's super frustrating. I get it. I've been CrossFitting for a long time, since 2012. So I've been back and off and on, right? I had shoulder surgery and another surgery within a week of that on my ovaries. So I get it. I get how frustrating it is. how almost defeating it feels, right? We work so hard in the gym and we're constantly trying to get better, right? We want to get stronger. We want to get more gymnastic. And we want to create a bigger, stronger motor, right? We want to be able to do all the things well because that's who we are and that's what CrossFit's about, right? And when we have setbacks, it's really difficult and it's so easy to slip into this very self-defeating mindset because we go into comparison world. We take our PR, whatever, however you track it, sugar wad, paper, whatever. I don't know. I'm going to use sugar wad because that's what my gym does. Excuse me. We have the pre-injury, pre-pregnancy sugar wad results, PR, and we look at them and we're like, damn, before all of this, could I could deadlift 300 pounds, right? I could clean and jerk 140. Here I am coming back from injury and I'm like at 185 and struggling on this deadlift. And it sets us up for this negative thought spiral, right? Because it's our brain, such an amazing machine. And it's wired to affirm beliefs. We call this in the psych world confirmation bias. When our brain has a belief, and it doesn't matter whether this belief serves you or it doesn't serve you, it's a belief. When it has a belief, it has to go find evidence to prove that belief true. It just has to. So if we have a belief that I'm never going to get back to it, I'm never going to have the scores that I did. So when we go and we deadlift, and that deadlift is much lower than it used to be, our brain automatically takes that piece of information and it converts it into a piece of evidence to affirm that belief, I'm never going to get back there. And then that creates the emotion within us of feeling defeated, of feeling frustrated, of feeling kind of hopeless and like you want to give up. And then we kind of spin from there into really beating ourselves up, right? And it just continues to spiral. The problem with that is a lot of us will stay there and will continue to create those results. Again, what we believe is what we create. So when we believe I'll never get back there, which we think is factual, right? We think it's factual evidence that our brain is pulling in facts from reality and giving us the truth. Most things I will tell you that your brain takes in are going along the lines of cognitive biases. It's subjective interpretation of reality. Here's what I mean by that. I don't want to get into all coach lingo and lose you guys, not to insult your intelligence, but I know us coaches have our own lingo, just like every industry does, and we like to nerd out to that stuff. So subjective interpretation, what you've been programmed with from childhood, your society's, what their standards and rules, what your education system taught you, what your parents taught you, what your faith system taught you, created all these lenses for your brain. Okay. And then information comes into your brain through those lenses. We all have different lenses. That's why you can take like a crime scene and you have 5 eyewitnesses to this crime, and all 5 people will give you a different story of what happened. That's where this subjective interpretation of reality comes in, is you're filtering it through your interpretation of reality through all your programming, all your biases, okay? And that's why we think we are seeing things through reality, when I am telling you that you're not. You're seeing it through your lenses. Things that are factual observations. Here's a great way to check it for yourself. A factual observation would be something that is provable in a court of law, or you can get 4 more people to completely agree on it. So I'm trying to think of something that we could all agree on right now. Here's one. I have a tattoo on my shoulder. We will all agree, yes, that's a tattoo. Kim, okay? Now then, if I say I have a gray tattoo, or a gray tattoo, you guys are, that's not necessarily facts, because you guys are interpreting, it will look different colors to you, right? And it's really not gray. It's kind of like a greenish gray, right? Or we'll all agree that the sky is blue. But if I say it's a very pretty blue color, that is a subjective interpretation. That's my perception of that blue. Somebody else might say that, like, that's not a very pretty blue sky. But we will all agree, yes, it's blue. But when we start putting these things on it, is when we start getting into subjective interpretation land. I kind of hope that, like, I built the case to tell you, like, what you were seeing, the information you're pulling in, majority of time is subjective interpretation of reality. So you're saying, I'm never going to get back to being the athlete I was. Your brain tells you it's factual. It is not. You cannot prove that in a court of law. You're not going to get 5 people to agree with you on that. I won't agree with you on that because I don't know. You don't know if you can get back to being the athlete that you were. Have you gave it enough time? Have you gave your body enough time to heal fully, right? Have you set it up for success? Or are you like most of us, right? I come off of I have shoulder surgery back in April of 2015. And my biggest fear, because you know how the medical field is, sometimes they won't give you definite answers, like, you may never overhead squat properly again. And that was my biggest fear. Like, and overhead's it's a big deal in our world, right? And I was like, my brain refused to hear that. I was like, the hell I won't. I'm going to go back to CrossFit and I'm going to do overhead everything. And I'm going to get back to being better than I was before the injury. That was my mindset. And I did. I have no issues with it. I snatch, I do all the overhead things. That shoulder is even better than the other one. Because I had a cognitive bias that I was going to get back to it. So I did the work. I gave myself time. I put my body in a place to heal. And I was patient with myself. I didn't expect me to be able to get back to it in 6 months. But I did expect myself in a year to be pretty close to where I was. But a lot of times we'll come back from surgery, we'll come back from pregnancy, and we're like guns a-blazing. After the first month, we're like, I can't even do the things I did before. Literally 30 days out from surgery, 30 days out from pregnant, having a baby, and we're like, nope, it's never going to happen, not going to work. And from there, we have set ourselves up to create more and more evidence that it's not. And a lot of times what I see in athletes from coaching, as long as I have, coaching CrossFit and coaching life coaching, is that once we step into that world of like, it's not going to work, I'm not going to get there, what I see happen is self-sabotage. They stop trying. They settle for those lower numbers. They stop investing extra effort into supporting the body and healing the body. And a lot of them just 6 months later quit because they've got into that mindset and started creating more and more evidence for themselves that they weren't going to get back. Well, of course you're not going to get back, humans. If you quit, of course you're not going to get back. If you don't put in the effort to heal the body. We do not, and I say this a lot in my post, we cannot hate our bodies to happiness. Okay? We cannot belittle ourselves, berate ourselves, indulge in these negative thought processes, negative beliefs, beat ourselves up, punish ourselves, torture ourselves into a healthy, strong, fit body. It will not work. Won't. Hasn't worked for you yet, and it's not going to work. The only way to get to where you want to go is you do it through love and compassion, which I will tell you, I'm like you guys. I'm like, I hate that fucking answer. I do not want to have compassion for me. I want what I want. I want it now. And I want my body to step up and do it. I get it. I get it. I get that you guys have a normal human brain. I have a normal human brain. And we are wired, our primal brain is wired for instant gratification, right? We want it now. And we live in a society of instant gratification. We want to see results now. We want to see it quickly. And if we don't, that means everything's gone wrong. Nothing's going right. It's not going to happen. Our career's ended. Am I speaking your guys' language? I know I am. I know how our human brain works, and I know how we as CrossFit athletes are wired. We're driven, we're type A, we like want to get shit done. I get it. I get it. But I also get and understand how the human brain works, and I understand how the human body works. And I know that when we stay in this negative place, this negative energy, negative beliefs, I know from a physiological perspective what happens. So negative thoughts, beliefs, low vibe, right? Let's say anger, resentment, bitterness, hatred, all those very like negative emotions, okay? Science has shown us that when we have these negative emotions, let me step back because thoughts create emotions. When we have a thought, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to get back to where I was. That thought has a chemical reaction in our brain, okay? The neurotransmitters and the neurons fire, okay? The neurons fire and the neurotransmitters come in. That chemical reaction creates an emotion. That's how the body, that's how our brain talks to our body, is through emotions. Words, communication talks to our brain. The brain takes that, creates a thought, chemical reaction, which is an emotion, is how it communicates that message to the body. We have that thought, it's never going to happen, it's not working. It creates an emotion of feeling defeated, hopeless, angry. That chemical response that's traveling through the body and out of the body starts to create an acidic environment within the body. Science, I will, if you guys are interested in that study and that research, I'll totally like link it up or I'll email it to you. But anyways, I'll provide that for you. So these negative emotions create an acidic environment within our body, okay? Because it moves us into the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, right? Stress response. Stress is a bad thing in our society because we live in constant stress. Stress was originally made to help us move our body from a peaceful homeostasis to prepare to survive. So it changes the chemical responses and how the organs are functioning to go run from a lion, okay? So our brain doesn't know the difference of like a lion coming after me or me feeling really shitty because I can't currently do the things that I used to could do. And I'm having these negative thoughts that are causing me to feel bad, feel stressed. So then my body says, oh, we're stressed, there's a threat. And it goes into the sympathetic nervous system, releasing lots of cortisol, right? And the acidic environment for the negative thoughts does not create a healing environment in your body. Okay? Because acidic environment equals inflammation, right? Inflammation is made to help. It comes in to protect the body and start healing the body, but it is also negative because inflammation, systemic inflammation of the body, puts it in a place where it doesn't do a very good job of healing. Creates lots of pain, right? Achiness. You can't really perform at a high level when you have systemic inflammation going on. So you can see multi levels of this, right? Of being in a negative mindset and not giving your body and yourself grace and love to start healing. Is this just chain reaction? These negative beliefs will start creating negative cognitive biases, which you'll start creating evidence for. Then the body moves into the sympathetic nervous system, and negative thoughts create an acidic environment. So it does not allow for healing of the body in an optimal way, prolonging healing. Does this make sense? This is why it's so important that we give grace to ourselves and we love our body with patience and grace to healing and wholeness and optimal health, which totally sounds like a woo thing. And us CrossFitters, most of the time, we're not into woo, right? But it's true. There's science to back it. So when we have positive emotions like happiness, joy, love, have an alkaline effect on the body. Our bodies love alkaline, right? Like it reduces inflammation. It sets the body up to an optimal healing point. And the positive emotions that come from positive thoughts and beliefs will then set our brain up to start looking, cognitive bias again, for evidence to prove that belief true. And the more evidence that you find, the more you will create until you get the result you want. So there's not a magic pill to this, right? This is really just straight up mindset work. Mindset work being seeing yourself and questioning these beliefs, questioning these thoughts, that not enough energy, right? A lot of times I know from like coming back from an injury, before the injury, I can guarantee you were already having thoughts that it wasn't enough. I'm not lifting enough. I'm not strong enough. I want my PRs to be higher. I want my whatever you're trying to reach to be better. Okay? Keep that in mind. Pre-injury, pre-baby. We have the injury. We have the baby. We come back, okay? And we start romanticizing the past. If only I could get back to there. I was happy there. I was doing really good there. Here, I'm not where I was, but I was good there. Because our brain wants to forget, right? It starts romanticizing the past. Things were really good there. And you forget when you were there, it wasn't enough. And now that you're here, back from the injury, back from the baby, still not enough. And a year from now, right, when you are back to where you were, better, it won't be enough. It'll never be enough. Because when we have a belief in our enoughness and we are not enough, it's like a moving bar. It'll just constantly always be out of reach. You'll never be enough. It'll never be enough. The number on the scale, the number on the barbell, the time on the clock will never be enough. I know this is hitting home. We're driven. We're type A's. Enough is really hard for us. And it's really interesting when you start looking at like mindset and you see like, wow, like It's not enough now where I'm currently at, post-baby, post-injury. My mind does want to tell me before that it was. Wish I could get back to there. But when I really think about it, I remember it wasn't enough. So we have to start doing mindset work on the enoughness. What is enough? What does it mean to be a human that is enough, right? That is worthy. How do you define worthiness and enoughness? Because when you can move into a place and you see that just being a human means that you're worthy and enough, then you get rid of that fucking bar, that enough bar that continually moves, and you see that where you are today is enough. Like, a lot of you are going to see this video because you're moms, you just had a baby. When you look at that baby that you just amazingly created and delivered into the world, you will tell me this baby is enough. It's worthy. It doesn't do anything. It can't PR. Doesn't provide, it doesn't contribute to society. But you will tell me this baby is enough and worthy. Okay? So at what point does that baby no longer become enough and worthy? 5, 12, 25, 35, 55, 75, 85? When does a human no longer become enough and worthy? And how do we lose our worthiness and enoughness? How do we add to it? Can your baby add to its enoughness and worthiness currently? You're going to tell me no, that it is perfect. It's perfectly enough and worthy. It doesn't need to do anything. That is you, my friend. Humans are worthy and enough because we are humans. We cannot add to our worthiness and enoughness. We cannot subtract from them. Being a human, a divine being in a human body, is enough to make us enough and worthy. Now, when we start using behaviors to decide our worthy and enoughness, that's where it gets really dicey, right? Because if you're going to say, like, I'm worthy, I'm enough, then you have to start lining up the humans. And you have to have someone here that's not enough and not worthy because of behaviors. And you have to have someone here that's not worthy and enough. And then you have to find on this line where you belong. And how do you decide where you belong on this line of humans that are worthy and enough? What acts? What behaviors? Right? But when we can get rid of this line and we can say humans are worthy and enough because we are divine beings in this human body existing here. We're humans having human experiences. And no matter what the PR says on the board or the time on the board, I am still worthy and enough. No matter what my body currently can do, I'm still worthy and enough. So then we get rid of that energy. And we just start trusting our bodies. That's another big one, is that we don't trust our bodies. We've been raised, if you're an American, you've been raised in a society that says the body is separate from the mind. They're two different entities. And like, if you really look at that, like, it's stupid. Like, the mind has to have the body to survive. The body has to have the mind to survive. They're not two different things. They are connected. They're part of the same organism, right? But we've been raised and taught differently, taught that it's separate, and that we can't trust our body, that our mind knows better and our body doesn't know really anything. And my argument is the body is very intuitive. The body is a lot smarter than we give it credit for. And the body is for you. Your body is for you, right? Like, not like for you to use, but like it's on your side. It is your biggest fan. It wants you to be healthy. It wants to be able to go and do the things that you want to do. It wants to be healthy and full of energy So it can take you on trips. It can play with your kiddos. It can go do CrossFit. Your body is for you. It's on your side. And the body is so resilient and amazing. If it's put in a position to heal itself, it will heal itself. There's so much times here in Western society and conventional medicine, we think we know better than the body, and so we'll just get in its way, and we constantly are throwing toxins at it, and we're constantly ignoring it, and so we don't set it up to a position to heal itself, right? So if we can move to a place to like trust our body, to listen to our body, to know that your body just gave birth to a living human being that has organs and limbs and trillions of cells. Your body made that and birthed it into the world. So it might need a break. It might be a little exhausted. It might have took all of its energy and given it to that baby to give it a chance to survive in this world. So maybe your body just needs a little grace, a little break. Maybe your body just is like, look, I spent all 9 months making this baby, pouring everything I had into making this baby for you. I'm sorry that I can't come back and sub to Fran for you. I can't right now. I got to heal. I got to get these organs back in place. I got to take all this tissue and I got to start repairing it and sending all my energy to creating new cells and new tissue and toning things back up. I got to spend my energy there because that's more important than me sub to and Fran for you. I go back to like, we got to give our body grace, my friends. It's okay that you had a baby. It's beautiful that you had a baby. Because you aren't where you are, you aren't where you were, does not mean anything. The meaning it has is the meaning you created around it. It's the story you put around it. It's the story you put around it to make something mean something about who you are. That's it. I have no story around it. If you and I were to have a conversation and you're like, yeah, before baby, I was doing Fran in 3 minutes. And now I'm lucky to even get it done in 9. I would have zero thoughts about that in terms of who you are, your athletic capability is, your worthiness or enoughness. I would simply think, yeah, that makes sense. Your body gave a lot of energy to making another human being. When it gets healed, when you put it in a position to heal it, I bet by next year, you'll be back, even probably better, because you've been more intentional on taking care of the body and healing it instead of just constantly hammering on it. And same thing for injuries, right? We had an injury. It's not your body betraying you. That's one thing I love about CrossFit. When I first started, I had a coach tell me that CrossFit is very good at exposing weaknesses. Weaknesses in your athletic game, but weaknesses in the body. I tore my labrum, right? CrossFit didn't do that. I had a weakness in my structural integrity. My scaps are tight. It's on me. I did not spend time working all the knots out of my traps, my delts, right? I just store tension there, store unprocessed emotion there, and just expecting my body to do something with it. So I tore my labrum. Went and had surgery, went through PT, and I guarantee you I spend time working on those traps and those delts, investing in my body, getting massages, right? Making sure that I take care of those areas so that I can have healthy shoulders. I didn't make it mean anything about me or my capabilities or my ability to do CrossFit or not. So yeah, I'm going back to CrossFit. I'm going to do what I did before and more. But now I know how to pay more attention to my body. I know how to listen to it. I know how to set it up for a place of health and healing. I don't create all these stories around my athletic ability or my worthiness or enoughness. So my encouragement to you guys is to give your body grace and love and compassion. Give you love and compassion. It means nothing about who you are. It means nothing about your athletic ability. It just means the body has gone through a traumatic event, an injury, giving birth, and it's needing time to heal. Priority number one is not to make you the next Catherine David's daughter for your body. Your body's priority number one is to heal. And it's going to try to do the best it can to heal. And it's going to work with you or against you. But either way, its priority is not to make you the best CrossFit athlete post-injury immediately. It wants to heal. So give yourself grace. And then give yourself like checkpoints, right? I would make a year. You give birth in May. By May of next year, I want to be back at this place. And then make checkpoints for yourself over the next year, okay? So post-baby, I'm deadlifting 175. It's a lot less than I used to. Whatever, not going to make it mean anything. So this is July. By September, I want to be at 185, 195. By December, I want to be at 215. And you make these little checkpoints, these little reasonable goals that set you up for success. So you can see that your body's healing, and you can see that you're progressing, and you can see you're back on the path of getting back to where you were. And once you get back to where you are, you just keep making more little goals to help move you forward. Same thing with injury, right? And you're smarter now as an athlete. You're more in tune to your body now as an athlete, post-injury, post-pregnancy. You're more aware of it. So then you make different choices. You start putting it in places like, okay, I need to be more intentional on my massages. I need to be more intentional on my recovery, on my mobility, on my thought work. And then you're a smarter athlete. So that's how you become even better than you were before surgery, before pregnancy. You become a smarter athlete and you become a better athlete. So I hope this helps you guys, give you a different perspective, helps you pull you out of that negative cycle that we get into of shame and defeat and disappointment and discouragement. I tend to be like intense, and you guys should get it, right? The CrossFitters, like I'm a coach, and like I'm passionate, I'm intense about this stuff, but I hope this has been helpful for you, helpful to get your brain to start shifting and to see different perspectives, different evidence, and a different way of looking at it to help you move to a more positive place, a more healing place, a place where you can start achieving the things you want and you get out of that negative thought loop and negative cycle. So I will be here every Thursday until November talking about different topics. I invite you guys to join me. Send me, DM me or email me, KimberlyJarmanLive@gmail.com. Any questions you have, any topics you want me to cover, I'll be more than happy to extend this past November. Or if you just have things you want to discuss, questions, things that triggered you, like, hey, I want to talk more about this. Whatever, you disagree with me or agree with me, whatever. I'm more than happy to have a discussion with you. And I appreciate you guys taking your time out to watch this. And I look forward to meeting you guys and seeing you guys next week. So have a great day.